Hello, welcome to engineering chemistry class, unit 2, lesson 4, vibrational spectroscopy. So today we are going to see another type of spectroscopy called infrared spectroscopy or vibrational spectroscopy. The content of this lesson is introduction to vibrational spectroscopy, the vibrating diatomic molecule, selection rules and the mechanisms. See guys, the atoms in a molecule, you don't think them as fixed. They are not fixed one. They are constantly moving. And as we can see the molecules, we have some simple molecules like HCl, water, CO2, vinyl chloride, methanol, etc. The atoms in them are constantly vibrating or moving back and forth, right? So we are going to see such type of vibrating molecule in this lesson. Okay. So moving ahead, what is vibrating spectroscopy or vibrational spectroscopy? One of the scientists to observe IR radiation was William Herschel in the early 19th century. He noticed that when he attempted to record the temperature of each color in the visible light, the area just beyond the red light gave a marked increase in the temperature compared to the visible colors. So, however, it was only in the early 20th century that chemists started to take an interest in how IR radiation interacted with the matter or interacted with the molecules, and the first commercial IR spectrophotometers were manufactured in USA during 1940s. So this spectroscopy is concerned with the study of absorption of IR radiation, which causes vibrational transitions in the molecules. Hence, it is also called as vibrational spectroscopy. It is largely thermal energy. It induces stronger molecular vibrations in covalent bonds and can be viewed as springs holding together two masses or atoms. So, the two masses or two bonds holding together with spring, spring. Okay. So, the specific bonds respond to the specific frequencies. So moving ahead, it is the technique which is used to identify chemical compounds based on how infrared radiations are absorbed by the molecules or compounds, chemical bonds, and interacts with them. So this spectroscopy exploits the fact that the molecules have specific frequencies at which they vibrate corresponding to the discrete energy levels. It gives us information about the functional groups present in the molecules. So there are three well-defined IR radiations. They are near IR, mid IR, and far IR. And near IR infrared radiation is poor in scientific absorptions. It consists of number of overtones and combination bands resulting from vibrations in the mid IR region. Whereas mid IR, it provides structural information for most of the organic molecules and inorganic molecules, and the range of mid-IR radiation is, the wavelength range is 4000 to 400 centimeter inverse, and the far IR wavelength range is 400 to 33 centimeter inverse. And it has been less investigated than the other near and mid-IR, but it has been used with inorganic molecules. And how the matter interact with the IR radiation. So what happens actually when the molecule absorbs IR radiation? There is the change in the shape of molecules such as stretching of bonds, bending of bonds, or internal rotation around the single bonds. And when molecule absorbs IR radiation, the IR radiation itself interacts with the molecule, undergoing a change in the dipole moment as it vibrates or rotates. IR absorption occurs only when the incoming IR photon has sufficient energy for the transition to the next allowed vibrational state to take place. So if the rules 2 and 3 above, the rules 2 and 3 are not met, no absorption can occur. So not all bonds in a molecule are capable of absorbing IR energy. So for a molecule to show vibrational spectrum, it must possess a specific feature, that is an electric dipole moment, which must change during the vibration. As I told you in the microwave spectroscopy, the criteria for a microwave spectrum, that is a molecule which should show microwave spectrum, is it should possess permanent electric dipole moment. Similarly, for a molecule to show vibrational spectrum or IR spectrum, it must has a electric dipole moment, and which must change during the vibration, during the stretching or bending vibrations. So what is dipole moment? It is the multiplication of charge value and the separation distance between the positive and the negative charges. Okay. So in heteronuclear diatomic molecules, and due to the difference in the electronegativities of the two atoms, one atom acquires positive charge and the other atom acquires negative charge. If you see the water molecule, the hydrogen atoms possess the small positive charge and the oxygen atom possess negative charge. If you take a HCl molecule, as I told you in the microwave spectrum, hydrogen carries positive charge and the chlorine carries negative charge. And the center of gravity is towards the larger mass, larger mass of the atom present in the molecule. So I told we can say the molecule is IR active, it should possess the dipole moment. So HCl is active while nitrogen, that is N2, is inactive. So the IR spectrum represents the rotation and vibrational spectrum of the molecule, whereas microwave spectrum represents only the rotational spectrum of the molecule. In solution, the rotation of molecule is strongly hindered, bands are strongly broadened, and the maxima of these bands correspond to the vibrational spectrum. In the solid state, the rotations are effectively frozen, so that the spectrum appears as relatively sharp bands, which corresponds to the normal vibrations. In gases, the rotation vibrational spectrum can also be absorbed. So the vibrational modes. The vibrational modes can be IR active, I told you. For a mode to be absorbed in the IR spectrum, changes must occur in the permanent dipole. That is not diatomic molecules. There are two types of vibrational modes, stretching vibration and bending vibration. What is stretching vibration? The vibration changes, this particular type of vibration, that is the stretching vibration, changes the bond length of a molecule. So there are two types of stretching vibrations. It may be symmetric or asymmetric. Symmetric stretching means two or more bonds vibrate in and out together. Asymmetric stretching means some bonds are getting shorter at the same time as others are getting longer. So if you have a simple molecule, like a diatomic simple molecule like HCl, then the only motions that the atoms can do in there is they can move back and forth. They can have what they call stretching of bond, a lengthening and compressing. If two atoms are there, stretching and lengthening will be there. So vibration. So when you get more complex molecules, like you get in biological systems, then you have other types of modes, and likely two of the molecules. You get in likely two of the molecules on the here on the right. So you can see that the stretching of all the bonds, and also on the bottom you can see the bending of the atoms. Okay, I'll show you the video so that you can understand the stretching and bending of molecules taking place in the complex molecules. Okay, so before that I'll explain you what are the types of bending vibrations. After that we'll see the video of molecular vibrations. Okay, so the bending vibrations change the bond angle between the two bonds. See, stretching vibration means like this. Bending vibration means the bond angle will change. Okay, so the bond angle will change. The atoms, the bond angle will change. So there are 4 types of bending vibration. Scissoring, it is the movement of 2 atoms toward and away from each other. So, okay, scissoring like this. Okay, rocking, it is like the pendulum of a clock. Pendulum of a clock. There are 2 atoms, it will move like this. Okay, wagging is like the motion in which you make a V sign with your fingers and bend them back forth from your wrist. Twisting is a motion as if the atoms are walking on a treadmill. Look at this video, watch this video guys, then you will understand nicely.